So when we established Regeneration Earth, we were looking at a range of project types, one of which was tree planting. What we were really looking for is a really fast growing tree. And we looked at poplar, we looked at willow, and they were great and grew fast, but didn't really offer the additional qualities that we were after. The Paulownia tree, which is native to Asia predominantly, but widely grown in Europe, is not only an intensely fast growing tree, but sequesters unrivaled amounts of CO2 in the process, but also produces a very high quality hardwood, which is highly regarded or widely regarded as the best strength to weight ratio timber in the world. So the way we're fitting this into our system here is we've got a 5 hectare block just behind me in an agroforestry system. So we've planted the trees in 26 metre wide rows, 24 metres between the alleyways, so that we can continue to plant crops in the future. At the moment we've planted grass and we'll be mob grazing cattle between the trees, running electric fences up the rows. And then moving them and hoping to keep the cattle out all winter. Eventually the trees will grow to a harvestable size. We think the first cycle between 8 and 10 years, we then cut them down and then they regrow, and then the next cycle should be between 7 and 8 years, where we cut them again and they regrow as if by magic. One of the real reasons for as well as the good quality timber is that the Paulownia tree is unrivaled in its ability to sequester CO2. In a 10-year cycle, one of these trees will sequester an average of 63 kilos of CO2 per year. And that's approximately 3 to 4 times faster than a traditional woodland would sequester CO2, and it does it from day one. If you look at this tree in particular, this came out of the ground, or from this point, on about the 9th of May. It's now the 28th of September, and it's put on this amount of growth in its first year. And if you imagine that it does that considerably faster in year 2, faster again in year 3, faster again in year 4, gives you an idea of just how much CO2 this tree can sequester. So we've got these trees planted here in a 5 hectare block. There's 500 in this block here, and each tree has its own what 3 words designation and a geolocation that gets entered onto a new carbon tracking system that's been developed by our tech partners, and that enables the purchaser of the carbon credit from these trees to be able to follow the carbon right from the very beginning, the day it was planted, all the way through its life cycle. But not only that, the timber that's produced can also follow that same track. So the end user, let's say in this circumstance a furniture maker, can see exactly how much carbon is embedded in their furniture and exactly where that timber was grown.